Okay, got my little rig set up so I don't have to do a selfie this time. I thought I'd shoot a quick video on what I learned today. So, I think I already shot a video actually today, but I'm going to do another one because I just watched a video on from Ty Lopez, and this one was called Crossing the Chasm, Marketing to the Pragmatists, however you say it. So, he talks about the beginning stages of business, and really the good analogy for that would be really it's like if you take the analogy of a human when they're born, when they become a teenager, and then in their adulthood. So businesses often model that a lot. When you first start a business, it's like having a baby. The first 3 years, the first 5 years, hopefully not 5 years, but the first couple of years are going to be really rocky, and they're going to keep you up late at night. They're going to be crying. There's going to be a lot of things that you don't know how to deal with, and there's going to be problems you're going to have to overcome. And that's actually usually the time, like I think statistically, most humans die, like if they don't die at the end, during birth or right after they're born. So take that into consideration when you're starting a business. This is what I'm learning. You want to go for the long term, kind of having an investor mindset, because when you first start a business, it's like a baby. You're going to have to tend to it every single day, 24/7, and really nurture it. But you're going to be building it in the process. And hopefully you can build it, you can shortcut that growth to adulthood and make that transition as fast as possible, but you're still going to have to go through the transitions. Hopefully you don't stick with a baby business for the rest of your life, because that would be really hard to deal with. So the next step after that is the teen. So it gets a little bit better. You get to go on a few more holidays because they're able to take care of themselves, but you still need to invest in them. And so that's after the baby, and then after the teen is the adult, where if you're a grandma, you're going to have your child take care of you because they're an adult now, and maybe you're kind of deteriorating in health and you can't really do much. So that's what a business is going to be like when you first start. And so the mass of people, I think there's 30 million people in Canada, maybe a little bit more since President Trump, because people wanted to migrate here. I haven't heard much, but I remember a funny story. They on the day of the election when Trump was elected, our immigration site actually went down. It crashed because so many people were on there trying to immigrate from US to Canada. That was viral news for a bit, and I remember it was kind of funny. I just saw it on a Facebook post, and I thought I didn't give it much thought because it was just Facebook. But then I dug into it a little bit more, I dug into it a little bit more and learned that. So, or I went to the website myself too. So yeah, that's kind of funny. And 50% of businesses fail in this stage. So to get over that, you really need to know how to make sales and market at first. Usually the problem is you don't have enough sales, basically. And Crossing the Chasm was more about technology, so like Facebook, Snapchat, little gizmos, things you can get. But they talked about 5 psychometric profiles. The innovators, the early adopters, the innovators, the early adopters, the early majority, later majority, and then the cynics or the laggards, skeptics that don't believe in what's coming. So really the problem is getting the first couple of customers in. And when you get those first customers in, you really want to focus on them and make sure you do a good job, get the testimonials so that you can display. Because the problem is with the mass, or the most people don't want to try something new unless somebody else does it. So it's kind of like a catch-22. So they don't want to be your customer or your client unless you have a client, but you won't have a client unless they become your client. So to do that, Tai Lopez used a really interesting analogy. He referenced D-Day in World War II, in don't know the exact year, on the frontiers of the beach that Germany was holding. The United Forces didn't go all out at different points. They all gathered, congregated right where England was, and they took that one area, that one specific area. So they laser focused down onto that one thing, broke through, and that was one of the massive, biggest turning points in World War II. So this is the same thing with what we have to do in our businesses. At least that's what I'm reading. So I don't know. I'm very early as an entrepreneur, so I don't even know if I can call myself an entrepreneur. I'm an aspiring entrepreneur, learning, reading as much as I can. One day my business might take off. So you want to be niche, laser focused. So maybe for me, I'm running a consulting agency for SEO. Maybe what I can do to market myself better is to really focus just on that. I'm actually might be merging with another partner, so when that happens, I can pass on the SEO to him. I want to learn social media. That will broaden our net, but it will still be laser focused because I'll be focusing on one thing only. And I think I want to be focusing more on just the sales, marketing, and networking and getting customers in. But yeah, so there's a whole bunch of things for you to do to improve, and some of the things. So that's like war. Like for my industry, online marketing, there's tons of things you can do. There's Google AdWords, there's websites, there's online conversions, there's all the social medias, Facebook, LinkedIn. I might be focusing on social media or doing that at first, but really I want to focus on just one or two products that we have, or services, whether that's SEO and social media, or if he wants to focus on website and SEO. So it really depends. And the way we can get more authority, getting more people to recognize that that they can cross that chasm and it'll be fine, is by raising our status and our authority. And that those two things can be raised by wealth and celebrity status, basically. I don't have to be like a Canadian celebrity, but I can be a local celebrity, where if I'm doing talks and teaching people how to do social media or how to do SEO and teaching them the basics so they grasp it, and then that's kind of I want to go in that strategy. I want to be educating people in social media and SEO. And obviously I know most business owners won't have time to do that, but they would appreciate being educated in that so that they can make a good decision. Because if there's a lot of different choices, like a lot of different social media agencies or online agencies, they're going to go to the one that's shining the brightest, or the one that most people are going to, or the one that has most authority. So if I go on stage and start presenting and they see me every now and then, that just makes their likeliness to go with me that much greater. So that's what I wanted to talk to Mike about. And I think that's it. Being laser focused on one or two niches or services, and having a compelling reason. And one of the coolest, or not coolest, but the one of the things that I really took away is if they're not buying into what you're selling, it's probably because you're not promising enough. So to get them to make a more compelling reason for them to go with you, over promise and over deliver. Because you don't want to over promise and then under deliver. That'd be really bad. You won't last in the long term. But also under promising and over delivering. Well, if you under promise, then you have no bait basically, and a lot of people are going to pass you up because what you're if I am doing SEO and I think that I can get somebody 5,000 people to their website, and I want to under promise, so I tell them, okay, I can get you 2,000. Well, it's maybe I'm competing with another agency, so then they're thinking, well, that agency said that with those exact same keywords that you're targeting, that guy can bring me 5,000 people to my website. This guy's just saying 2,000. It's the same exact keywords. So we're not going to go with this guy. We're going to go with the other guy. But at the same time, if I said I'll bring you 20,000 people to your website, then they're going to know in the end whether I'm telling the truth or not. So that's basically it for chasing the chasm. Really focus down on 2 products and focus on gathering testimonials. I really want to, if I partner with him, I really want to build the social proof, the testimonies, and handle the marketing and the sales. So my offer to him is really get into the sales, and he already has a secretary, so I can train the secretary to take initiative for some of the sales parts, because part of the sales process is qualifying people. And so if you qualify them and you ask them specific questions before they have a chance to talk to you, then you're doing a really good job and you're cutting down wasted time. Because most of the questions, it should be easily answered. Like, they should not be emailing you back and forth 8 times because they have questions. You should really, most of those questions should be answered by the secretary. The secretary should have enough knowledge to answer that. So I want to cut down that inefficiency, maybe even train a salesperson, and not just in sales. I want it to be more like an account manager. There's a pretty cool business, First Page Digital. I don't know if you've heard of it. They've got 2 account managers, I think, and I know one pretty well. I did actually a 24-hour Salvation Army stayover, just a homelessness initiative. So I got to know he's a great guy, and that's what he does. He is called an account manager, and what he does is, I think he does all the selling, but he also manages the account. So he makes sure that the communications between the customer and the client, or the customer and the person working on the website, to be seamless. So I want to do that. And after I get the sales, which may take 3, 6 months, a year, I really want to focus on marketing, streamlining marketing, leveraging social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and really getting people, or raising our awareness of our brand. Because if I'm working, it's our brand. And the way I want to do that is by doing opt-in. So I noticed that he has 16 ebooks, and we can really break that down and market that and get people to opt in. So we have their email, so we can offer those for free. You're already offering it for free, but in bite-sized chunks. So something quick and easy, because that's what people want when they download these things. They don't want some long, tedious process. They want something quick, something that they feel brings them a lot of value, which is hard to do. So we exchange that for their email, and we'll follow up in an email funnel sequence and stream. And basically, I want to take this business and make it the best SEO business company in Canada. And to do that, we're going to start with just BC, maybe Abbotsford, Fraser Valley, go into Vancouver for sure, because that's where all the money is. And then branch out to Alberta, Saskatchewan, Toronto, and so on, take over Canada. So that's what I want to offer to him. And really quickly, I think I have one more minute. Otherwise, I don't. Otherwise, my memory runs out. Now it's less than a minute, but also I wanted to tell him that I haven't talked to any other companies or agencies, and why? It's because I want to let him know that I'm not leaving him. I want to be loyal, and if he goes into partnerships with me, I'll let him know that even if they offer me $100,000 or $1 million, I'm not going to leave because I'm so much more in it for the mastery and building than I am for the money. Because I know the money will come later. And what I want to do with your business, Mike, is I want to take it from 500,000 that you're doing every year to 5 million, and then do it again. So that's what I want to do, and that's I want to be your solution to that.